Hey everyone, it's Michelle from the Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center, and today I am out in beautiful western Colorado where consistently Colorado Parks and Wildlife has had wolves showing up on their watershed maps. So this down here is really great wolf habitat, lots of sagebrush, there's lots of deer, lots of elk, and that just kind of brings me to one of those stories that I hear all the time, is that there's no room for wolves in Colorado, which is not true. Colorado has a lot of people, yes. However, a lot of those folks live out on the Front Range. Now, that's not to discredit the fact that there are people that are living out here. We're not too far from the town of Kremling, but there are lots of places, other states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Oregon, Washington, California. All of these states, even Idaho and Montana, have a large human population. Most comparable are going to be those Great Lakes regions, and then of course California, to that high urban areas and then lower density areas for the human populations in other parts. So out here, the human density is very, very few, very sparse per square mile, whereas our average across the state is still less than 60 people per square mile. So we don't have a whole lot of folks out here, but even in areas like Germany, where they have really, really high urban areas like Berlin, there are wolves living and reproducing right outside of those city limits. So on their most recent map that Colorado Parks and Wildlife did release, we could actually see that a wolf had wandered pretty close to areas of Boulder County and Denver County. So they are slowly making their way around as they explore the state. So I do also want to give a little bit of an update, unfortunately, that we have had some of those wolves that we reintroduced pass away. So of course, from the 10 that we reintroduced from the state of Oregon back in 2023, we did have 3 that died. One of them was killed very early on by a mountain lion. Now, unfortunately, mountain lions, if you have one wolf with a mountain lion has a very clear advantage, whereas a pack of wolves would have more of an advantage against the mountain lion. So that guy did pass away. And then we had 2. One of them is officially a poaching case, was the breeding male of the Copper Creek wolf pack. So unfortunately, he did pass away. Now, thankfully, those 5 pups did survive along with the mom, and they did capture those 4 puppies along with mom, and they re-released them back in January. And then that 5th pup is still doing well out here in Grand County. We had another one who unfortunately passed away after probably being attacked by other wolves, but he did have a gunshot. Now, of the 15 that we reintroduced from British Columbia, we have had at this time 3 pass away. So most of you have already heard about those 2 that died in Wyoming. Unfortunately, Wyoming has that shoot on sight policy for wolves throughout most of the state, but we did also just recently have one that died in Rocky Mountain National Park. So U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is the leading agency on all the investigations because they are part of that Federal Endangered Species Act here in Colorado. So there isn't a lot of information just yet on why that wolf did pass away in Rocky Mountain. So we will definitely let you know when that occurs. But in the meantime, we are still keeping our fingers crossed that we might see some wolves reproduce this year. We'll definitely let you know as soon as CPW announces anything and if we had any successful pairings and reproduction this year. But again, like I said, I think a lot of times when people say we don't have room for wolves in Colorado, they're just thinking of those high density urban areas like Denver, Boulder, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Fort Collins, all of those places. Whereas if you come out west and you leave the interstate corridor, you're going to find all these big, beautiful, vast, wild, open spaces where wolves and a lot of other wildlife can thrive. So Colorado is home to about 750,000 deer and elk. That is more than enough to still sustain a very high percentage of human hunters going out there and harvesting big game, but it also is enough to support at least 1,000 gray wolves according to most studies. So we definitely have plenty of room for them here in our beautiful state. And we'll talk to you all next week.